There is a tyranny in our modern world. It is the tyranny of the ideal. The pressure to be well-rounded, flawless, and complete. We are handed a checklist from the day we are born. Be confident, be charismatic, be disciplined, be successful. And we spend our lives painfully aware of every empty box. We feel the shame of our missing pieces, the shyness that holds us back in a loud world, the anxiety that makes us overthink when others act so effortlessly, the disadvantage in our background that makes us feel we are starting the race 100 yards behind everyone else. We see these flaws not as parts of ourselves, but as proof that we are fundamentally incomplete. We spend our lives trying to hide or fix these broken parts, believing that only when we are finally whole can we truly begin to live. But what if this is a profound misunderstanding of the very nature of strength? What if the path to our most formidable power lies not in fixing our flaws, but in embracing them? Today, we are going to explore a radical and liberating truth, inspired by the wisdom of nature and the insights of the world's great philosophers. This is a guide to understanding what I call the law of the missing piece. The principle that your greatest perceived disadvantage is the secret engine of your most unique and unstoppable strength. Chapter 1. The Revelation in Nature. The Shark and the Stradivarius. Nature itself is our greatest teacher on this subject. Consider the shark, an apex predator, a masterpiece of evolution. Yet, it was born with a critical flaw, a missing piece that almost every other fish has: a swim bladder. A swim bladder is an internal gas-filled organ that allows a fish to control its buoyancy, to float effortlessly, to rest in the water. A shark cannot do this. If a shark stops swimming, it sinks and perishes. This is its missing piece. But this disadvantage is the very source of its power. The constant necessity of movement forced it to develop unparalleled muscular strength and lightning-fast senses. The shark doesn't dominate the ocean in spite of its flaw, but because of it. Now, let's look at the world of music, at one of the most perfect instruments ever created: the Stradivarius violin. For centuries, artisans have tried to replicate its uniquely rich and resonant sound, and have failed. Modern science suggests the secret lies in a flaw. Antonio Stradivari built his masterpieces using wood from trees that grew during a mini ice age. The prolonged bitter cold stunted the tree's growth, resulting in wood with an unusually slow, dense grain. The disadvantage of the harsh climate, the very thing that made life difficult for the tree, became the secret ingredient for the violin's unparalleled beauty. The hardship was the source of the magic. Nature shows us this principle in even more dramatic ways. Consider a forest after a wildfire. Our first impression is one of total devastation. But for certain trees, like the lodgepole pine, the fire is not an end. It is a necessary beginning. Its pine cones are sealed shut with a strong resin, and they will only open to release their seeds under the intense, life-altering heat of a fire. The trauma of the fire is the only thing that allows for new life. The Stradivarius violin and the pine cone reveal the same profound truth. Strength and beauty are not born from a life of ease and perfection, but from the masterful integration of hardship and imperfection. Chapter 2. The Philosophical Guidance. The Power of the Incomplete Self. This law of the missing piece is not just an artistic or biological curiosity. It is a cornerstone of deep philosophical wisdom. First, the Western perspective. The Knight of Faith, Kierkegaard. The Danish existentialist philosopher Søren Kierkegaard was fascinated by the individual who stands apart from the crowd. the one who lives by a standard that defies conventional logic. He would argue that our missing pieces, our quirks, our anxieties, our non-conformity, are the very things that break us out of the comfortable, thoughtless existence of the crowd. Your flaw is what makes you an individual. Kierkegaard wrote of the knight of faith, a person who makes a leap into the unknown, guided by their own inner conviction, not by what society deems normal or complete. Consider a successful CEO who is also dyslexic. Early in life, his dyslexia was a profound missing piece. Reading was a struggle. School was a challenge. Society's script said he was at a disadvantage. But because he couldn't process information in the conventional way, he was forced to develop other muscles. He became an incredible listener. He mastered the art of simplifying complex problems down to their essential truths. He learned to trust his intuition and to rely on the strengths of the people around him. His disadvantage forced him to become a visionary leader and a master delegator. He didn't succeed by fixing his flaw. He succeeded by building a world-class system around it. Second, the Eastern perspective, the beauty of the imperfect, Wabi-Sabi. The Japanese worldview of Wabi-Sabi, Chaji, is a perfect philosophical partner to Kintsugi. It is the art of finding profound beauty in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It is a gentle rebellion against the tyranny of the ideal. A perfect, mass-produced teacup is lifeless. But a simple, handcrafted cup, with a slight asymmetry, a small crack, a sign of its age and use. This cup has character. It has a story. It has the beauty of the imperfect. Imagine a young woman feels deep shame about a prominent scar on her face from a childhood accident. She spends years trying to cover it with makeup, to hide it from the world. She sees it as the ultimate imperfection, the trash that ruins her appearance. One day, exhausted from the effort of concealment, she decides to simply let it be. She begins to see it not as a flaw, but as a part of her unique history, a testament to her survival and resilience. It is the gold repair on her own kintsugi face. As she accepts it, something amazing happens. People start to connect with her on a deeper level. Her vulnerability becomes a source of trust and authenticity. Her imperfection is the very thing that makes her uniquely, unforgettably beautiful. She didn't become more beautiful by hiding the scar, but by having the courage to accept it. Chapter 3. The Practical Path. 3 steps to forge your flaw. So how do we move from intellectually understanding this to actually living it? It requires a conscious shift in perspective and practice. Identify your missing piece. The first step is the most courageous. It is to look at the thing you are most ashamed of, the flaw you've spent your life trying to hide or fix, and to simply acknowledge it without judgment. Name it. I am shy. I am anxious. I am not a natural leader. I had a difficult start in life. Stop fighting it. Just for a moment. Let it be. Isolate the compensatory strength. Now ask the most important question. Because I have this flaw, what other muscle have I been forced to build to a world-class level? The shark, because it had no swim bladder, was forced to build powerful muscles. The dyslexic CEO, because he struggled with reading, was forced to become an extraordinary listener. Look at your own life. Because you are shy, have you become incredibly observant? Because you are anxious, have you become a meticulous planner who can foresee any potential problem? Because you had a difficult start, have you developed a level of grit and resilience that normal people can only dream of? Find the hidden strength that your missing piece has gifted you. Amplify your true power. The final step is to stop pouring your precious energy into fixing your weakness, and instead, redirect all of that energy into amplifying your compensatory strength. This is the art of building your life around your natural advantages, not your perceived flaws. The shy person should stop forcing themselves to be the life of the party and instead seek out roles that reward deep listening and one-on-one connection. The anxious planner should stop trying to be spontaneous and instead lean into their talent for strategy and risk management. The masterpiece of your imperfection. The tyranny of the ideal tells us that we must be flawless to be worthy, but the wisdom of the shark, the kintsugi bowl, and the great philosophers tells us a deeper truth. Your missing piece is not a mistake. It is the key to your unique contribution to the world. It is the grit in the oyster that creates the pearl. The harsh conditions that created the flaw in your life are the very things that forge the unique resonance of your character. And the trauma that cleared the forest is what allows for the most resilient, new growth. The goal is not to become a perfect, well-rounded, and unremarkable sphere. The goal is to become a masterpiece of your own unique and beautiful imperfection. Stop apologizing for your cracks. They are the proof that you have lived, that you have struggled, and that you have the capacity to turn your deepest wounds into your most profound wisdom. You are not a failed version of someone else. You are the perfect, unfolding version of you.